I read 4 books in September 2025 and I'll tell you all about them in my September 2025 reading wrap-up. Hello people, welcome to the Melodramatic Bookworm. My name is Sonali and today I'm going to take you through my September 2025 reading wrap-up. I read 4 books in September 2025. Reading was the last thing on my mind in September, but I did still manage to get through 4 books, which is something, I guess. But I did find 1 or 2 books that I really enjoyed, so I'm really excited to share them with you. The first book that I finished in September was Unruly by David Mitchell. This is a history of England's kings and queens told in a very funny, sarcastic manner, but without taking out all the essence. David Mitchell is one of England's most famous comics and he is known for his sarcasm and wit, and that translates into this book. He starts from King Arthur, who he says multiple times in the book that he may or may not exist, and then he covers all the rulers, the kings that came before William the Conqueror, then moves on to him, and then up to the Tudors. He covers all the kings and queens who came between them, the fight for the crown, the power, and the change in monarchy when primogeniture was in usage, when porphyrogeniture came into usage. He covers them in a quick fire manner. He doesn't dwell on any of these details for longer than is necessary, so it's like a very fast forward, fast moving presentation of sorts that's going on in this book. It is fun and it is a great place to start if you want to start learning about England's kings and queens. At the time, it is somewhere between the 800s or 900s and the 1500s. But there are also places where he makes some controversial statements, like some things which are unnecessary to those contexts. He brings them in and puts them there, which sort of irritated me, but those comments probably also need to be seen in context. But overall, this is a great book to read if you are looking for a quick primer on these royals, if you want to educate yourself on who was there and how things were and which kings and queens were in power at what point in time. Next was Sons of Darkness by Gaurav Mohanty. This was a book club pick and it was good. It was fun, it was entertaining, but before all of that, this is a retelling of the Mahabharata and the stories of the characters from the Mahabharata told in a very Game of Thrones kind of way. We have the shifting of the Mathurans from Mathura to Dwarka, then we have Draupadi's Swayamvar and its aftermath, and there are also a lot of new characters we see in this book, with some of which I felt were, but overall, I feel like this is a book that takes from the epics, changes them in a way that makes it sort of unrecognizable. He could have taken completely new characters and written it and it would still have been the same. I think the effect of the story would still have been the same. He has given the characters of the Mahabharata and the storylines a very dark and gritty feel, but I feel like even though it is entertaining and it does get shocking in certain places, it has those points of shock value, I feel like the way he has treated the women characters is unnecessary. I know it was said to be a sort of a Game of Thrones kind of thing, but even for someone who has watched Game of Thrones and who has read books like that, it felt a bit much, especially because you're taking characters that are so loved and that we know for a fact are nowhere near it. Agreed that he has given a disclaimer at the beginning of the book saying that whatever you know, put it aside and then go into this book. Look, if I were to do that, then you might as well have used completely new characters to write this story. Why use the old characters? I might as well have started, imagining a new world, new characters for myself while reading this book. Why that disclaimer and why this? Plus, the story starts out really sluggishly. It takes you a while to actually think that, okay, fine, now I'm not, I'm okay with continuing. I'm not thinking about DNFing the book constantly. It takes you like 300 pages to do that. And I don't think a book should take that long to pull you in. It does get interesting only towards the second half of the book, and that too not without the complaints that I made just now. So even though overall I had that adrenaline rush, I was enjoying it, the action, the discussions, the dialogue in a lot of places, I still think that this has a long way to go, and I feel like he tried to do something and he did it, but it wouldn't appeal to a lot of people. I am still on the 3.5 rating range, which I think is pretty good, but it's not without complaints. The next book on my September 2025 reading wrap up is Here the Whole Time by Victor Martins, and this is such a lovely book. This was recommended to me by a friend and it is one of the sweetest books I've read this year. And this is about Felipe, a teenager who is fat. He's chubby and he has body image issues and he is bullied in school because of this and everything. Now he thinks that there are 15 days of school break, so he'll finally be able to take a deep breath, rest and relax for 2 whole weeks. But what he doesn't know is the guy he has a crush on who lives in the same building, Caio, is now coming to live with them for 2 weeks. How is Felipe going to manage this, and what is going to happen during these 2 weeks? Will he be able to strike up a rapport with Caio? Will the crush go anywhere? What's going to happen is what this book is all about. And it's sweet. Felipe is such a lovely boy. I just wanted to hug him because he's got so much on his young shoulders that he shouldn't have. The world needs to be kinder and the world isn't. It's okay. But this is very sweet, yeah, very sweet. If you are looking for something to just melt your heart, to get you through a bad day or something, read this one. This book will make you smile. It will help you rediscover your faith in humanity more. Like, this is that kind of a book, and I read this during a very difficult time and it helped me a lot. I want to protect Felipe and Caio with everything I have. Read this book. It is easy to read, it's quick to get through. I got through it in I think 3 days or something when I was going through something heavy. And the fourth and last book on my September 2025 reading wrap up is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston, and this is such a great romance book. It's wonderful. I love it. This is about Joni Lark, who is a songwriter in LA, and she is stuck. She cannot write anything, but a lot is going on in her life. Her mom has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and her mind is all with her mom. So she takes a month off and she goes to live with her mom and dad. But something has happened and there's a telepathic connection that her brain has immediately formed with someone, and there's a half-formed melody in her brain that keeps playing along with that communicative voice from that person. One day this person that this voice belongs to shows up in Vienna shows, and these two, in order to get that song out of their heads and to go back to normal, they have to work together to complete that song. Such a well written book. There is so much feeling. Of course there are music terms that I don't understand, but it's the emotion behind them that will keep you going from start to finish. There is such a connection between every character for that matter. I do think that Joni wasn't treated right in a few ways, because her own family keeping things from her just because they're like, oh, you were in LA and we didn't want you to feel out of place, we didn't want you to worry, and that's why we didn't tell you things like this. That's wrong. They kept covering things up saying that this is our life. I'm like, okay, Joni is also part of your life. Uska kya? Of course she is not without her faults, but those are minor compared to this. And her best friend, who is supposed to be I got very defensive and very protective of Joni over the course of this book, and when these two characters meet and they are sharing their insecurities, they are sharing their pains, and they're sharing their views of the world and why they do what they do, it felt like a dagger to the heart, because how dare you kill me with such beauty. Okay, so to wrap this thing up, I'll tell you something that happened while I was reading this book. So Joni's best friend is called Georgia or Georgina, Gigi for short, and there was one part where Gigi called Joni Joe, and I went Gigi, Joe, G, Joe, G-I, Joe, and I laughed about it for 15 minutes. I'm not even kidding you. My husband became concerned because I was losing breath at that point. This is a book which made me laugh and made me cry, and it was so much fun. I really loved it. What I'm saying is, if you're looking for a romance book, this one should be on your list. So that was my September 2025 reading wrap up. Have you read any of these books? Did any of them catch your eye? What did you read in September? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and a comment down below. And if you like book content like this and more, please do subscribe because I have a lot more content coming up in the next few weeks. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, keep reading and take care.